compulsory. Then that was the reminder I gave somebody today. The tutorial is not even lectures are not compulsory. Talk more of tutorial, but it's only those that knows the benefits and why. But on my own part, I wouldn't want to carry the blame of not making an effort for my classes to strive. So that is just what I am doing. And if you cannot appreciate it, you have all your time to yourself to do whatever you want to do than complaining of the timing. And when our exam, we only have time that is not even enough for us to prepare, to read. And then somebody is saying tutorials is being jam-packed or something like that. So be informed that I will never subscribe to that idea at all. So even if it's one person that is ready, they will do, I will play my own role. The tutors will teach us. And moreover, some of these people, they are just doing the selfless and services because they are not even money conscious. Because those that are money conscious, you can't even approach them for tutorial without telling you how much are you going to pay, how are you going to pay it. But look at this young man here with all the inconvenience we are giving him and what he's delivering. I've never discussed anything. He has never mentioned how much are you giving me. And then today is Sunday. He's here. He just finished a 2 hours class with us, and look at him here again to continue. And then we will not say today is Sunday or something. No, please, let's try as much as possible to swallow some of those things, complaints, so that it will not demoralize ourselves and all the effort we are trying to make. So, like I said earlier, we're in a class, and thank God the network is flowing right now in recent time for our tutor. So he's here to do justice to gerontology today once again. And we believe that all of us will have a better understanding. Please, anything that will distract you, try as much as possible to avoid it. Make sure you stick to your audio so that you can get all, because what you get practically is better than maybe recorded. And then after that, you have any question, you can ask any question at all, and he is ready to answer you. Thank you so much as you listen. Once again, I want to welcome our tutor. Hussaini, titled Gadoh is the name, and he will be doing justice, like I said, to gerontology by explaining it to us in details and all the relevant theories that we have heard from Oscar, like the head belief models and many others that we will be needing to apply to the contemporary issues in our exam. Thank you so much. You are welcome, sir. So the stage is yours now.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate everyone for a time like this. It is my privilege to be here. Thank you. Like your class rep has actually stated, the last sets, the results that eventually came in, some have been bittered and all that. As much as we know that a whole lot of it is going to center around your exam and term paper. So we hope that you will do the needful, also play your part. The first thing I want us to know is that the discipline gerontology, in the light of a person who Oscar is not the kind of course that you will need too much writing. It's not at the type like some of the development courses that some of us have had to do and some of you will be doing, where you need to write and write. No, Oscar would always require that you go straight to the point. Some of those things are the things, even in his explanation, he always tries to go straight to the point, even though some explanations are drawn, most explanations are drawn from outside the shores of this country. That is because we are yet to get our footing in respect to gerontology in Nigeria and in Africa. So it is only in Western societies that these things are very much considered. Now, what is gerontology? Gerontology as a discipline. Well, the course gerontology is a discipline that emphasizes on the study of the biological, psychological, and social aspects of adulthood. It is the study of biological, social, and psychological aspects of old age, or you can call them the elderly. Basically, they go by different names. You're going to meet some aspect of it being called the older adults, the elderly, the aged. it still means the same thing. It still means the same thing. It's still referring to age brackets of persons above the age of 65. So you're looking at these persons because at the age, as people grow old, they are disposed to certain psychological, biological, and social issues. Definitely, if we don't die, we all pray and hope that we will grow old. And in fact, it is the greatest desire of every man, aside making heaven, that while we are on earth, we live a productive, healthy life down to old age, which is what we all crave for. But gerontology as a discipline aims at studying the biological, psychological, and social issues that come with growing old. Why is it so? As people grow old, we are faced with a whole lot of issues. Even as I'm not yet, I have not attained the age of 40, but I feel my body. There are certain things I used to do when I was a whole lot younger, and I'm not doing it again. In fact, I can't, even when I try to do certain things, I feel pains. How much more of someone who is aged, who has attained the age of 40, 50, 60, 70, such persons are predisposed to biological, psychological, and social issues. These are basic aspects of the study, which we'll be considering. Now, biological aspect in terms of when people get old, you find that some basic functionalities of your body would not be as effective as they ought to be when you were a lot younger. When you were a lot younger, in fact, this biological aspect has to do with when you were a lot younger, you have to, when you start growing up, like the male, you find that your basic parts of your body have start when you attain teen age, the basic parts of your body start protruding, and then at some point you begin to take shape and all that. But as you grow old, definitely, particularly with women, the breast starts to fall. These are basic aspects, whether we like it or not. Let's call it a shovel. They will begin to fall. A man who will ordinarily go for 2 hours sex cannot go make it up to 2 hours again at some point. And that is why you end up having old men who have young ladies, and then some of them will be forced to use drugs, and some of them end up dying in the process. As we have seen, it's a major occurrence in Nigeria of late, where we find people dying in the course of having sexual encounter with younger people. Now, biologically, as well, as we grow old, we discover that we are prone to certain diseases. Diseases that ordinarily, when we were a lot younger, we never could have fathomed that we would have it. Some persons, as they grow old, they become diabetic. Some, as they grow old, hypertension or blood pressure begin to set in. Some people, as they grow old as well, the bones, the joints will begin to, to wear out in terms of strength and all that. So these are some of the basic biological issues. Now, psychologically as well, you find that as people grow old, they become psychologically weak. Some of the things they could ordinarily withstand, the emotional pressure, the emotional drama and trauma that comes along with it. Some people could withstand and then not actually pay attention, but people grow old, some of these things, they begin to crave for attention. Memory loss begin to crave in as well, some of these issues. Social aspect, yes, as people grow old, there's always a desire for people wanting to have attention. There are some issues in terms of social support, social security, which in some societies, some of these issues have been institutionalized. You find in the West, there is always a provision for social security system. There's this institutionalized system of social support. But in some societies, like here in Africa, in Nigeria, we don't have institutionalized system of social support. And some of these things are issues affecting the older adults. And there is a need for a discipline of old age and provide solution Globally, it is said by the year 2050, we are going to have more than, if not, I think more than 200 million older adults across the world. And these are issues. We can't keep having older adults without attending to the issues of old age. You find that there is a need to actually study some of these things. And this is why gerontology as a discipline has been introduced here in the University of Abuja, so that we can appropriately understand the issues of old age, study them, and profile some of the solutions as may be required. Now, I wouldn't want to dwell so much on the meaning of gerontology, so we can push ahead. There are some basic theories that I would want us to look into. Now, some of the theories that we'll be looking into in respect to this discipline, there are two basic types of theories in respect to gerontology. According to Oscar, I very much remember, he had to talk about this theory as explanatory theories and change theories. Explanatory theories and change theories. These are the two basic theories, types of theories he made known during our study of this. However, under these two theories, there are types of theory under each. There are types of theories under each. The explanatory theory, according to Oscar, these are types of theories that tries to explain the factors and issues for why certain health problems exist. I state, these are theories that seek to explain why certain health issues exist in a society. Now, the essence of this theory is that this theory tries to understand the issues. Why would people, the older adults, behave this way? Why are they prone to certain sickness or illnesses? Why are they affected by certain situations? The whys, the hows, the when. These are the explanatory theory. Now, example of these theories, these types of theory are three. We have the health belief model, the theory of planned behavior, and the precautionary adoption process model. The health belief model, the precautionary adoption health model. Now, the change theory on the other hand, is a theory that that is adopted to guide the adoption and development of health policies or intervention. The change theory is a theory that is basically adopted to guide the adoption and development of health policies and interventions. Basically, this type of theory is out to look at advancement, innovation in health care delivery. We'll discover that basically the healthcare delivery system in societies in Africa, as much as these theories are different, these health issues are different, there is the need to adopt, to look at what is obtainable in some societies and then bring it back home, see how you can adopt it. What are some of the processes and also some of the explanations that can be given? Now, one of the major functions is that these change theories helps to translate programs into strategies. And these are the types of theories that most planners use, policymakers in the health sector are expected to use. Now, the two types of theories under this change theory are the community organization theory and the diffusion of innovation theory. The diffusion of organization theory. Now, we'll pick these theories one after another, then we explain. We'll pick this theory one after another, then we'll see how we can provide explanation to how these theories work. Now, I'll start with the health belief model or the health belief theory. The health belief theory is a theory that guides health promotion and disease prevention programs. It is a theory that guides the health belief model, the health belief promotion and disease prevention programs in other societies. Basically, this type of theory is simply emphasizing on the fact that why would people or older adults behave certain way towards certain health program? Why would certain individual act this way when certain health issues are presented? What are some of the beliefs that they hold? Let's take, for instance, contraceptive. In Nigeria or in Africa particularly, people hold certain belief towards the use of contraceptive. In fact, some people see the use of contraceptive as not good, and hence they would not want to make themselves available to the usage of contraceptive. Hence, the continuous procreation, pregnancy, childbearing, etc., etc. Now, what they simply put to us, there is a belief behind it, the way an individual will act. There is a situation that will prompt people to act some way or somewhat towards a particular health program. In the same way, bring it back home. Why would the older adult not make himself available to healthcare delivery? Particularly in the rural societies, when some older adults are ill, some of them will prefer not to go to hospital. They'll say, "Oh, I can't take the drugs from the hospital. Oh, just give me Agbo, the average Nigerian system, Agbo Jedi Jedi. Just give me." And then they believe more that they say it is more effective. This is a health belief model. This is a health belief perception. This is a perception that has been built over the years by so many people. And in the light of this, the essence of it is that while people hold this belief, certain issues in society continue to reign supreme. Look at the issue of overpopulation in Nigeria and in Africa. Our population is growing astronomically, and people are, somewhat astronomical, because in 2006, we were about 240 million. Today, we are over 210 million people in Nigeria. Our population is growing. Why? Some people have a perception towards the usage of contraceptive. Why would some people prefer to wait on their dying bed till death comes calling and not make themselves available to treatment of cancer? It is a health belief issue. Therefore, the health belief theory or the health belief model is simply a theory or a model that tries to explain the instances, situations as to why people will react towards a health situation. That is what it seems to explain. Now, there are some factors that have been identified that will prompt behavior towards health situation. Or one of such is access to health, access to healthcare center. When people feel or have access to healthcare center, definitely they will want to make themselves available. Some people do not attend, have access to healthcare center or do not go to healthcare center, usually because it is far from them. Look at the pregnant woman who cannot have access to maternity care center, someone who is in a deeper rural area. And as a result, it gets to affect the belief, it gets to affect the situation and predisposition of the individual. This is one aspect of it. Another one is poverty or lack of finance. Lack of finance. Now, when people do not have money to get the needed health care, definitely it will form a form of belief system. It will form a sort of perception And so you have people not making themselves available to healthcare delivery because they have been because of lack of finances. And you will get to agree that healthcare delivery in Nigeria is gradually getting expensive. The treatment of cancer, how many people can afford the needed resources for the treatment of cancer? How many people can afford the needed resources for the treatment of diabetes? Gradually, society in itself gets to influence the perception people hold towards healthcare delivery. Now, we must also look at susceptibility of the individual towards or predisposition towards health situation or health condition. Some people generally feel that, oh, I can't get this disease. Oh, and the first thing, even when a doctor diagnoses such an individual, the first thing he holds is that God forbid. And such people would want to disbelieve the medical result and so hold on to a perception that, oh, no, it cannot happen. So such a situation creates a belief system, create a system that ends up influencing the predisposition of people towards a health system. So generally, the health belief model is usually used to design short and long-term health intervention. It is used to design short and long-term intervention, taking into cognizance some of the issues that have been raised. And so in policy formulation, people want to consider, okay, how will people react to this? You want to first take the belief. You want to ask, okay, how will people react to this? If we bring up this, how will they react to this? Taking into effect some of the factors that may influence their belief system. So these are some of the issues when we talk about health belief model. Now, I don't know if we have a question in respect to this before we move forward. Let me also quickly add, in the absence of any, that the health belief model is usually used. It is basically used. It is basically used by scientists mostly because you try to preempt before time how people will react towards this. You try to look at their socio-cultural background, how they will react towards this. Like I've said earlier, the issue of contraceptive. What is the perception people hold towards the usage of contraceptive? This is a health belief model. What is their perception towards it? What is the perception of people towards the coronavirus vaccine? This is a major issue that we should look into. And the health belief model is a major theory that can be used to explain the availability of people to taking the coronavirus vaccine in this part of the world. Usually in Nigeria, the coronavirus had come up with a whole lot of issues. And people are saying it is a lab invention. Some are saying and bringing up all issues. And some are looking at, giving some sort of theological interpretation to it in respect to saying that the vaccine will have the mark of the beast, whatever it is. It is a health belief model. So as a sociologist and as a student of gerontology, you can now be able to apply the issue and the access to coronavirus vaccine in respect to the health belief model. Why are people not taking it? What are some of the perceptions people hold towards taking this coronavirus vaccine? What are some of the sociocultural barriers that are militating against some persons taking the vaccine? Why are some people making themselves available to take the vaccine? Now, health belief model, using this, some people take this vaccine possibly because of the act they need the vaccination card. If they feel they cannot have their way around it to get the card, some people just take it because of that reason. So you can get the card, especially those who want to travel out of Nigeria. Some people don't want to take it because they believe, no, it affects, it does not work. I cannot have coronavirus. These are perception. And so that is what the health belief model is. Now, we'll quickly look at the other theory in the explanatory theory. The other theory, which is the theory of planned behavior. If you can hear me, the theory of planned behavior is a theory that simply wants to similarly follow suit or tries to apply. Sorry, class rep, my internet, is it okay? Can you hear me? Just indicate, just let me know. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Go ahead. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, because I got a message that my network is not steady. All right. Now, the other one we are looking at is the theory of planned behavior. And the theory of planned behavior is a theory that is a strand of the theory of planned action. It is a strand of the theory of the planned action. And in fact, in some cases, it is similarly associated as a theory of planned action. And the theory was actually developed by Fishburne and Asgen. Fishburne and Adson. So in 1975. Now, what is the premise behind the theory of planned action? The theory of planned action is a theory that tries to assume that every behavior is planned. It is a theory that tries to explain that every behavior, health behavior, is planned. So the behavior is not a behavior that is an offshoot. It is a behavior that is deliberately acted upon after some issues have been considered. Now, according to this theory, it is assumed that a behavior cannot be totally involuntary. That is to say, the actions of a person is guided through major issues. The actions of a people towards particular health situation are usually guided by three major issues. One, behavioral beliefs. Two, normative beliefs. And three, control beliefs. The action of people towards a particular health issue are guided by three issues. One, behavioral beliefs, normative belief, and control beliefs. The behavioral beliefs are simply consequences of practice action. The behavioral beliefs are constant practice action. The normative belief, on the other hand, is simply expectation of other people. It's based on what would other people react. What do you expect of other people? What does other people expect of you? Then the last one is simply emphasizing on, the last one, which is a control belief, is the one that is based on the presence of some other factors. It is other factors that can influence you. And this can be accessibility, this can be availability, this can be finance, and etc. So some of these things are within your own premise or are not within your own premise. The normative is what would people say? If I go to take the coronavirus vaccine, what would my people around me think? If I go for HIV test, what do people think? There's a general perception. That is why most people don't go for HIV tests, because they believe that if I go for the HIV test, those around me will feel, oh, he has HIV test, he has HIV. Or if I go for HIV test, what would become What would people be looking at me? If I tell people I have HIV and I start going for antiretroviral, what would people be looking at me as? How would people treat me in the society? General, what the perception of people? However, the aspect of behavioral belief, which is a major aspect of the plant's behavior, is the one that you have consistently held. You don't want to do it. No, I wouldn't want to act this way. No, and so over time, you continue to exhibit similar tendencies towards a particular health situation. You have first conceived it, and so you have the one that is for you or within you, your own control, the one that is not within your control, and the one that is probably from your surrounding, within or without. So, however, one thing we must also know in respect to the health, what do they call it? The theory of plant, plant behavior. The theory of plant behavior is that this theory of plant behavior is often used in explanation of certain health situations. And mostly, this has to do with the issue of access to health as well. People wanting to have make themselves available to healthcare situation. So you find that in most cases, all of these theories seeks to explain why people act this way, certain way, towards particular health situation. Any question? I think we'll need to provide better explanation to this. Now, what I'm simply saying in respect to this theory of planned behavior, let me repeat in a different light, is that this theory of planned behavior is a theory that links belief to behavior. It's a theory that links belief to behavior. And like I said, the major determinants of why a person will behave this way, because the behavior is not impromptu, is that one, it is the attitude, which I said earlier, which I talked about, behavior beliefs. The other one is subjective norm, which I talked about, normative belief. And the other one is behavioral control, which I call and which I refer to as control belief. All of this put together will shape the behavior of an individual towards a particular situation, as the case may be. The difference between theory of planned behavior and the health belief model is that the health belief model is simply based on one's perception towards a particular healthcare services or healthcare delivery system. This one, it is your own perception towards it. And this your perception or your availability to wanting to take these health care services is simply based on factors such as 1, sociocultural belief, 2, availability of such healthcare services, and the likes. But when I talk about the theory of planned behavior, I said the theory of planned behavior is a theory that explains the behavior of people towards a particular healthcare issue or service. This one, your behavior is deliberate, it is planned. It is planned and determined by 3 major factors: normative, behavioral belief, and control. In other words, attitude, subjective norm, and perceived behavioral control. And this form your intention that will consequently form your behavior. These 3 put together will determine your intention, whether to take or not, and consequently will determine how you will act. Any question? Then, in the absence of any, we will take the other theory, which is the theory of the other theory of explanatory theory, which is precautionary adoption model. Precaution adoption model. My course rep, if we don't have questions, then are we to go ahead? Because these are the 3 theories and we are gradually taking them. Any question? I want to be sure, then we move on.
Doctor's hand up. Doctor's, unmute yourself and ask your question. Unmute,
okay.
Doctor.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Doctors.
Yes, Mr. Gadoh, I have a question on you made mention of 2 basic types of theories according to Oscar. You made mention of explanatory and change theory.
Yeah.
Please, what do you really say about that explanatory? I did not get it very well.
Okay. The explanatory theory is a theory, or this is a type of theory that seeks to explain that seeks to explain why people have certain behaviors towards a particular health issue. Let me repeat that. It is a theory that simply seeks to explain some of the problems or issues towards a particular healthcare delivery service or system. That is why it's called explanatory. The essence of it is to explain why would older adults act this way towards a particular health situation. Why do people hold certain reservation towards taking coronavirus vaccine? Now, the essence of this type of theory is to help decide the problem and to help provide solution. However, people are bound to act towards a particular healthcare delivery system because of lack of knowledge, because of lack of social support or resources, or because of their own belief. Lack of knowledge, personal belief or attitude towards a particular healthcare delivery system, or lack of resources or what they call social support. That is explanatory theory. It seeks to explain. And under this theory, I said we have 3. The theory of health, the health belief model, or the theory which is sometimes referred to as the theory of health belief. And then we have the theory of planned behavior, which sometimes can be referred to as theory of planned action. And then we have the precaution adoption process model. Precaution adoption process model. Yes, is that clear? Are we clear, Doctors? Doctors, are we together? Any other question from anybody?
There's another hand up. Anele. Okay, Anele, unmute yourself and go ahead.
All right, Mr. Gadoh, you're doing very well, but my comment is you need to slow down a little bit so that we can put down all you're saying. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, sir. I will.
Okay, another hand is up. Caleb Lazarus, go ahead, unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
I need more explanation. You said behavioral beliefs are based on consequences, and how to know the disparity between behavioral beliefs and control beliefs.
You said behavioral belief and what?
Control belief.
I can barely hear you.
Behavioral belief and control belief.
Okay, behavioral belief and control belief. Now, the behavioral belief is based on one's attitude. What you have conceived over time, your disposition towards a particular healthcare delivery system, or towards a particular situation, health situation. That is your own issues, or which in most situations is referred to as your attitude. That is why it's called behavioral. Now, the control belief, on the other hand, is centered on issues that may not necessarily be at your own disposal. They are not necessarily at your discretion. Some of these things can be finances. Some of these things can be lack of good transport system. Imagine carrying a pregnant woman from one locality to another and not having a good road, good transport system. This can form the attitude of a person. This can form the intention of a person towards a particular healthcare delivery system. What this simply means is that as a result of these factors put together, the attitude, which is the behavioral belief, the subjective norm, which is the expectation of the people or those around you, and the issues surrounding you, can basically form your behavior. And this form your planned behavior. And so the behavior is deliberate. It is not something that is impulsive. It is something that has been introduced over time as a result of these three major factors. All right. Is that clear? Yes, any other question? You can hear me? Are we together?
Yes, we are together.
All right. Any other?
Another question, or you're mistakenly go up? You want to
Yes, I have another question.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, please, Mr. Gadoh, you made mention about biological aspect. When you are defining gerontology, you made mention of biological aspect and psychological aspect, also sociocultural aspect.
Yes.
Yes, please. Can you elaborate more on those three distinct aspects?
Now, the biological aspects in respect to the study of gerontology, which is a major pointer to what gerontology is all about, is that as human beings and as people, as we grow old, we begin to experience biological deficiency. Biological deficiency in respect to the functioning of our body. As people grow old, certain things or certain parts or organs of their body are no longer as active as it ought to be, or as it were when they were a lot younger. For instance, generally, as people get old, as women, you get to reach certain age, which we have been told is called menopause. The same way, I will get to experience body changes. As a man, at the age of 70 or 80, I don't envisage a man at that age being able to perform optimally in the other room. Let me borrow the word of our president. Now, and it is in light of this that you find that biologically, some men wanting to remain active will end up wanting to get all form of support as pills, which sometimes have led to the death of so many men. Biologically, you also understand that we get to suffer some form of diseases or illnesses. Some can be diabetes, hypertension, etc. Our body become prone to certain changes and makes us vulnerable to certain diseases. That is biological. Biologically, if you're supposed to move, if you can walk 100 kilometer distance at old age, you discover that you can no longer do that. And that is why even in football, you discover that when people have attained certain age and they feel their strength can no longer take them for longer hours on the pitch, they end up wanting to retire, and which they eventually do. It is biological. Changes. No matter how you try to fake it or change it, you want to remain clear or want to pretend, it will definitely surface. Now, psychological, we discover that at old age, people are prone to certain psychological issues. This can be trauma. You know, this can be the craving for attention, always wanting people around you. Some can be loss of memory. Some can be little things that ought not to provoke them, end up being the issues that cause them to be provoked. In some cases, I have seen older adults who little thing make them cry. It is psychological. It is because at that age, sometimes some people have said that when people get a whole lot older, they start acting like babies. Well, that can be true. It is psychological. Now, socially, you are looking at the aspect of it so much that what are some of the issues when it comes to people, or socioculturally, what are some of the issues when people get old in terms of the environment, in terms of the social life? As people get old, definitely there is the need for some form of social support. They always want, you know, at old, and that is why the civil service system provides that at the age of 65, for some, in some occupations, some can be 70, they end up retiring. And when they retire, they are it means that they are no longer economically active. And in some cases, they will need some form of support, social support. Some may end up becoming so and too vulnerable. And that is why you find that in some societies, there is provision for these issues. In some cases, you find there is a home for the elderly so that they can take them there, care for them, and have people giving them attention. In some cases, as they grow old, they always want, you know, people around. There are some peculiarities that they require. And so gerontology is out to study some of these things and some of the issues in respect to old age, so that we can better understand them, formulate policies, and see how we can address issues of the elderly. Is that clear? Any question? Doctors, are we good?
Yes, I think doctor, okay.
All right. Any other one?
No hand is up now, except if they are warming up to.
Okay. The other one is the precaution adoption process model. Precaution adoption process model. The precaution adoption process model is said to have been inspired by Irving Janis and Leoman. Irving Janis and Leoman. And what is the, sometimes you're going to come across it as PAPM. PAPM. What is this theory all about? The theory seeks to explain how a person comes to a decision to take action, or how he or she can translate this decision into action. In other words, this theory seeks to explain how we come to a decision about certain health issue, and how we now put this decision into effect. Let me further put it this way. The precaution adoption process model is a theory that helps to understand how people come to take action to prevent illness, injury, or any form of harm that may come to them. Generally, as people, there are certain decisions we need to take about how to prevent illness, how to prevent injury, or any form of harm that we perceive or that are likely to come to us. And this is the essence of this, that this theory is formulated. According to this theory, people must pass through a series of stages in making decisions. We must pass through a series of stages in order to make this decision. But these are the stages that get to help us, and subsequently, as we go on, we'll try to look at them. One, according to this theory, we adopt a decision or a particular decision, whether risky or not, based on certain conscious awareness. The decisions are not impromptu. They are based on awareness. And this awareness can be made from within or from without. This awareness about certain health decision, about certain health issue, can be within our own purview or can be influenced from outside. Now, it's in respect to someone who smokes. In respect to someone who smokes, how does a person come to a decision about wanting to stop smoking? That is a precautionary adoption process model. That is what he's simply looking at. A man who is giving into smoking and who can take 100 sticks of cigarettes a day and gradually comes to the realization that he needs to stop as a result of certain influences. These influences can be as a result of advertisement that he or she has seen, or can be as a result of he or her wanting to just take a new leap, or have given his or her life to Christ and possibly not wanting to take it back. You see, this is a decision. And so you find that the individual will gradually want to let go of such a thing, of cigarette smoking. Now, we also find a situation where, how come, what is the decision of a people towards wanting to avoid the coronavirus infection? What are some of the decisions that will inform it? Why would I decide that I want to adhere to the precautionary measures as stipulated by the federal government? This is it. So you find that the decision that the individual will reach to either continue or stop, and basically to stop, is what the precautionary measure precautionary adoption process model is all about. Now, the stage of categories or stages as contained in this theory are very important, and these theories are sometimes referred to behaviors that, according to some persons, may be lay, they may be commonsensical. Imagine at my age, I made the decision to stop eating red meat. There must have been something that must have informed it. There must have been an influence for me to stop eating red meat. For me to stop smoking, there must have been a decision. And we'll now look at those stages. And what are these stages? Number one, unaware of issue. Unaware of issue. Now, I'm looking at the stages now. From when the individual is in the act to when the individual will stop the act. That is what we are looking at. That is what we're starting from. Unaware of issue. A person is consistently in an act because he or she possibly is not aware of the consequences. And so the person may continue with such a thing, or with such a behavior. So many people are giving into smoking, not knowing the consequences of smoking, particularly when it comes to issues of marijuana. Some people go into smoking marijuana, not knowing the consequences. And possibly somebody have told them that all it does is give you energy. Some go into taking of tramadol because somebody have told them all it does is douse your pain or douse your situation or make you feel low or high, as the case may be. So you are not aware of the consequences. So you're just in need. That is stage one. Stage one, like I said, is unaware of issue. Stage two is that you have not been engaged by the situation or upon the issue. You have not been engaged. People have not told you about it, about the effects. And so you keep going, you're just in it. You're not aware. However, this stage 2, the individual is now likely, the individual in stage 2 is now likely to be told. So I am introduced into smoking cigarettes in secondary school. And so I don't know the effect. I just found a pair. I just found my friends into it. And so I joined. And so we feel it is life. And so we are just doing big boys. That is stage 1. Stage 2, I just keep smoking. And maybe someday I come across an advert. And the advert is saying, remember, smokers are liable to die young. Or I am shown a picture of the lungs of a smoker and the lung of a non-smoker. And so I am forced to take decision. And so there is enlightenment going on. That is stage 2. Now, stage 3 is of 2 strands. Stage 2 is of, 3 is of 2 strands. And that stage 3 will give birth to stage 4. At stage 3, you become undecided, either undecided about stopping the act, decide not to stop. That is stage 4. Listen, I want to repeat it. Unaware of the issue is stage 1. Unengaged, but have now become aware is stage 2. Stage 3, you have become aware, but you have decided not to take action. Do you get this? At stage 3, you have decided not to take action at all. Oh, it's just nothing. It doesn't mean anything. Oh, some of those things some of those things people talk. It does not mean anything. So people who reach this stage or who are at this stage are still trying to weigh options because they are undecided about what to do. They are undecided. But listen, you can be at stage 2, stage 3, and jump to stage 5. Yes, you can be at stage 3 and jump to stage 5. Let's leave stage 4. I will come to that. At stage 5, the individual has decided to act. Remember, at stage 3, he or she was undecided. But at stage 5, he or she have now decided to take action. And what is that action? I want to stop smoking. I hope you understand this. I will explain. Remember, we jumped 4. I will come back to it. At stage 5, the person has decided now to act based on the information he or she has gotten. Now, at stage 6, you have commenced the process of withdrawal, the process of wanting to eliminate that act. So if I used to smoke 10 sticks of cigarettes, now I have decided to want to act. And by acting upon withdrawing from cigarette smoking, what I am doing is that I am struggling to just stop it. I don't want to be associated with any cigarette. Yes, that is the urge, the temptation to always want to have cigarette in my hand. And so I always want to puff something in the air. But I am fighting the urge. And eventually, it is at this stage of stage 6, when the individual has finally been able to conquer the act, that he or she cannot talk about maintaining it. Oh, I cannot say I have stopped the cigarette smoking. And because I have stopped cigarette smoking, I want to maintain it. And somebody will see you, how long have you been without cigarette smoking? Say, oh, I have stayed 5 months without cigarette smoking. Say, wow. And so you're doing everything possible to remain and to avoid taking cigarettes. Now, back to stage 4 that I left. At stage 4, the individual can decide not to act. And if you decide not to act, there will be no need for stage 5, 6, and 7. And that is why I told you that stage 3 is of 2 strands. And it is stage 3 that gives birth to stage 4. So I can decide to leave my entire process, and even in explanation, when I'm giving explanation, I can decide to explain and leave it only at stage 3. I mean stage 4, if the individual decided not to act at all. I don't want to take action. Let me continue smoking. That's it. So there is no need for stage 5, 6, and 7. However, if you decide to take action, definitely you're going to continue down to stage 7. So this precautionary adoption process model is usually a theory that is used to explain why people would make decisions as to wanting to withdraw from certain health behavior for certain risky practices. It is not only in cigarette smoking, it also has to do with pornography and masturbation. Some people just engage in masturbation as an art, and they don't see anything to it. At stage 2, they become aware of the danger. People have told them. At stage 3, they want to take action. Some want to stop, some don't want to stop. And then stage 5, they decide to stop, withdraw. Stage 6, oh yeah, you are acting, you are avoiding anything nude, anything pornographic, anything sexually explicit. And stage 5, you are maintaining the habit of no longer wanting to continue with the act. This is the precautionary adoption process model. Like I said earlier, this theory is used to explain the conscious decision of people about wanting to withdraw or avoid certain unhealthy behavior or practices. This is it. Any question?
Okay, one hand is up. Kemi.
Yes, Kemi, go ahead.
Kemi, unmute yourself now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gadoh. Good evening.
Good evening.
At stage 3, stage 3 is in process. A and B, becoming undecided and what, please?
Okay, stage 3, undecided about action or acting. Remember, stage 3 gives birth to 4. And the stage 4, that other part of it, is deciding not to act. You are either undecided at stage 3 about not wanting to take action at all. But consciously in stage 4, you have decided that I don't want to stop this habit. And that is why I said you can jump stage 4. You can jump stage 4. And from stage 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Stage 4 is only there when an individual undecided about acting, and then finally decided I don't want to stop. So there will be no need for stage 5, 6, and 7.
Okay. Sorry, again, you said something about 3 stages to pass to take the decision. Okay, that's the number 1 to 7, right?
No, there are the 7 stages, sorry. They are not 3, they are 7. That's why I said. There are 7 stages.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Kemi, you are done, right?
Yes, I'm done.
Okay. The next on the line is Taiwo.
All right, sir.
Yeah. Taiwo, unmute yourself. Taiwo, go ahead. Taiwo, go ahead. We can't hear you. Okay. Ugona, unmute yourself. Ugona, yeah.
Yes, I've done that. Thank you so much, Mr. Gadoh. Please, can you throw more light on stage 7?
Okay, stage 7 is when an individual decides to maintain the habit he or she has withdrawn from. So it is the stage of maintenance, maintaining the behavior of withdrawal.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Dorcas, can you unmute yourself? Dorcas, unmute yourself.
Okay. Thank you so much. My question is, I'm still on these stages. Please, Mr. Gadoh,
All right.
I still did not get the the third stage that you said is up divided into two strands. Please, can you still throw more light on that?
Now, stage one is when an individual is unaware of the effects of the action he or she is into. Stage two, the individual has not been confronted by issues, and eventually, at some point in stage two, the individual will now become aware, so unengaged by the issue or situation or consequence of the effect. So stage three is undecided about what to do. Now, undecided about whether to withdraw or not. Now, it is at stage three that we have stage four normally. But that stage four can be skipped. Why I say so, and that's why I say it is a strand. It is a strand because one, you are undecided at first, and at stage four, you become decided to stop, or decided not to stop, rather. You can become undecided at stage three, and then at stage four, you decide you don't want to stop at all. You don't want to stop this thing you're doing. So there will be no need for stage 5, 6, and 7. At stage 5, if you decide not to stop and later you want to stop, that is stage 5. You don't need stage 4. So you are skip stage 4. It is now stage 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Because stage 4 is that you don't want to stop. So if you don't want to stop, there is no need for you deciding to stop. There is no need for you to act. There is no need for you to maintain what you don't want to stop. So you just leave it. So that's why I said it is more like a strand of stage 3, because at that stage you can either decide to go left or right, but you are at a junction now, and whichever decision you make at this spot will decide whether you will continue with the journey or you are leaving. You are going to stop there.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Raymond, can you unmute yourself now? We're not hearing you before. Raymond, go ahead. Yeah. We can't hear you. Is it your network problem or what? Can't hear anything from you. Maybe his network is not good.
Yeah, hopefully maybe so.
So okay, since there's no question again, what is it?
No question, Ko?
Yes, no question.
Okay. I don't know. This is already 5:03, and I think I would have to prepare. Maybe my class rep, whatever you decide. What are you deciding? Okay. So Raymond has typed his question. He said,
I want to know why. He said just wanted to know why stage 3 is seen as 2 stages when stage 4 is taking part of it.
yes. Okay. Sorry. Why I decided to see stage 3 as 2 stages is because you can decide to skip stage 4. So it may not come into the equation if you're deciding to stop. Let's assume Oscar gives a question, because one thing I like about him is that if he's giving you a question that you need to apply this theory, He will state a situation, he will state a situation and expect you now to apply this model. So assume Oscar provides a situation that paints someone who started smoking, later became aware of the dangers of smoking, and decided not to act about it, or decide not to, or was undecided. So you see, if you paint a situation like this, you are at the discretion now to apply your explanation based on the stages and how far the question has been stated. If the question did not state up to when the individual stopped, or when the individual stopped the act and continued with the process of it, disengaging from the act of smoking or masturbation, you discover that there will be no need for the other stages. But if the individual now decides to stop the act, definitely you will continue your explanation, skipping stage 4. So it will be now be stage 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So that is how it will go. So stage 3, yes, but stage 4. But stage 4, if a behavior wants to be stopped, stage 4 will be insignificant. So that is that. Yes,
Okay.
any other question?
Okay, so if there is no question again, I think we can draw the curtain here, because there is another class that is starting by 5, and the prof will want them to join, all the gender students.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Go now. You want to ask another question? Okay. No hands is up again. Thank you so much for the wonderful lectures. God bless you, sir. So I think I will get back to you on the next class. Hello, sir. So it's okay. I think those of you that are doing gender, you are free to go now. The class at this point, we have come to the end of the class.